Vibe and Shine, the podcast where prosperity meets personal growth. I'm Krista. I support mamas with ADHD in clearing mental clutter, focusing on what truly matters, ditching the guilt and shame, and learning to work with their brains rather than against them.
And I'm Jessica. I'm your growth-minded guide who helps you align with the most inspired and intentional version of yourself in both life and business.
In each episode, we'll dive into the mindset shifts, strategies, and business insights that fuel success, while keeping alignment and well-being at the center. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a leader, or someone on a journey of self-discovery, this is your space to grow, thrive, and create a life by design.
In today's episode, we'll be expanding on topics of energy, frequency, and vibration, and how those can get us closer to our goals and help us align with our desires.
So today we will talk about ways to observe energy at a non-physical level and bring it into our 3D reality.
Our 3D reality as humans, we're conscious beings that have a vehicle, our bodies and our minds, to bring in non-physical energy and turn that into physical energy.
So let's talk about energy. What is it exactly?
Energy is the fundamental life source of the universe, the substance from which everything is made of. You'll hear life force a lot when we have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
In scientific terms, it's the capacity to do work or cause change. In spiritual or quantum terms, it's the unseen current that animates everything: thoughts, emotions, matter, and movement. The key idea here is that energy can't be created or destroyed, otherwise known as the law of conservation, coined most recently by Einstein.
It simply transforms from thought, emotion, action to the physical outcome. So a lot of people have probably heard your thoughts control your feelings control your actions. And examples of this: sunlight becomes warmth and growth in a plant. Inspiration becomes words that inspire others. And anxiety or excitement both change your heartbeat, same energy, but a different vibration.
So now we're going to tap into vibration. So Krista, if you want to enlighten us with vibration and what that really means in accordance to energy.
I will do my best. Vibration is the movement of energy. Every atom, object, emotion, and idea is vibrating, constantly in motion. So you can think of vibration as the expression of energy, the rhythm of life itself. High vibrations consist of joy, gratitude, love, and peace. And when we think of low vibrations, those are more like fear, anger, doubt, or guilt.
Those are the vibes.
Yeah. Vibe and shine, yo. We feel these vibrations emotionally and we feel them physically. A heavy or light mood is literally describing the density and speed of that energy in motion. Yeah, so I know that energy and vibration, can get, they get the term like...
They're kind of synonymous with each other.
Yes, but then also, people look at it as, oh, it's so woo-woo.
Mm-hmm.
But think about, I think it's easy to get caught up in the woo-woo, but when you take it down a step and actually really think about it and you say, what is your energy? What is your vibe when you walk into a room? I love how this is said. The heavy or light mood is literally describing the density and speed of that energy emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it for ourselves, when we're in a low mood or when we're in a high energy state. I was just listening to some fun music, so in the car, so I feel like good, and
that's good. My music wasn't connecting, so something with the cord or whatever. Anyway,
so did you have low energy then?
No, I didn't have low energy. I just kind of created my own.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, just kind of vibed in silence for a minute there on the way here. But yeah, one of my mantras is light and free. So I keep that in my head as far as when I'm going into some sort of call or office space or whatever it is, meeting.
Yeah.
Just because that's how I want to feel.
That's all. You made me think of when I first met you. I definitely would have pegged that interaction as light and free. Okay. Whereas I came into it all nervous because I was like, I don't know her, and came into it with some low energy and nervous energy. But then once I met you and we talked, we connected, so.
Yeah. The other word I guess I use is inspiring. So even in the intro to this video, inspiring. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it. I want to leave people inspired. So
Love it.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about frequency and how that is the measurement of vibration and how they go hand in hand. Basically, it's how fast or slow the energy is moving, and it's measured in hertz or cycles per period, or per second, I'm sorry. So there's high frequencies, and those vibrate faster, like light or sound waves. And then there's low frequency vibrations that are going much slower, like a bass, if you think of music, or dense matter. And so that means essentially if we have thoughts and we have emotions, those are emitting energetic frequencies. And the lower essentially those thoughts are, the lower those frequencies are going to be. So you can imagine vice versa, high energy, high thoughts, high emotions, going to emit energetic frequencies that are higher. But you can also utilize it in the other way around by maybe listening to some higher frequency, sounds or music rather than low, and try and have that influence your mood from the other way around. So the higher your frequency in general, the more you attract experiences that match it. Likewise with the low energy, but because energy resonates with energy of the same kind. So you can think of like attracts like in this scenario. A lot of people talk about the law of attraction here, and that makes sense because you're attracting something that has equal energetic value, if you think about it that way.
Yeah. So frequency is a radio station analogy. You are the analogy master. So do you want to enlighten us?
Yeah. So you can think about the universe being a giant radio tower constantly broadcasting infinite signals, including love and fear, creativity, success, scarcity, all at once. At the same time, they're all existing. Each of those is a frequency and a specific energetic wavelength vibrating at its own rate. So what do you think about that as far as like interpreting it from a musical standpoint? Like when you're tuning a radio station in your car, you kind of think about your thoughts and emotions as the radio dial.
Yeah. And I love, bringing in the static, right? Sometimes there's static on the radio. And so you're the one that gets to turn the dial to figure out, what station you want, what you want to connect with, really.
Right. And adjust accordingly. Like, if you don't want to listen to hip hop and R&B and you want to listen to classical music, like those are two very different frequencies that you're going to play. So you're going to kind of dial in towards what you're feeling or what you want to feel like. And that's the important key.
Yeah, I like this visualization as just a giant tower. I like that.
Yep. And when you tune your inner state to a particular frequency, let's say gratitude or even confidence, you begin to receive and amplify experiences that match that vibration. So you can think of it, and it's kind of cheesy, but you want to hear the joy station or happy station. That's going to sound a lot different than like nervous or fearful, different kind of station.
Yeah.
And it's not that there isn't happiness or joy channel in existence operating at the same time. It's just that your receiver isn't set to pick it up because you're not anywhere near it.
Yeah. I knew this was going to get deep, but like thinking about the choice that we have, right? We get to kind of choose where we land and where we want our energy to go. And then to your point, like adjust accordingly. What does that mean? If we want to get to the hip hop station, how do we get there?
I think it's also important to note that it doesn't matter what societal role you have, because let's say if you have like some junky, beat up radio from the 1980s, right? That still works the same as a radio that's brand new with Bose speakers inside of a Mercedes-Benz, right? It's still going to pick up the same channels.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, the vehicle might look a little different on the outside, but the function is the same.
That's genius. Like, that's really, really important to know.
Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter where you are really in life.
Mm-hmm.
You have the power to control what frequency you're emitting and therefore attracting.
Yeah. Gotta sit with that for a sec. So let's move on to how wave particles collapse into sound. So this is something that Jessica and I have talked about. And again, she's, how does one want to say this? Very eloquent in her words and how she says it. So please jump in at any time. So from a quantum perspective, all possibilities, like the infinite radio channels, exist as waveforms, so invisible energy patterns. When you focus your attention, so where you listen on the radio, you collapse those waves into something specific and perceivable. Okay. I'm still
a lot to dive into, right?
It is.
I think it's important here too to note that as humans, we just perceive typically our 5 senses. But I'd like to suggest maybe a 6th, and that being more intuition and being able to receive energy kind of with a gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone's had that experience, right? A gut feeling that's been really good and a gut feeling that's been really bad. And most likely they've turned out to be happening, in your 3D reality, and you just knew it.
Yeah.
And so I think we need to lean into that a little bit more. But that's not something that you can see, feel, taste, hear. Right. Like you just can't. I mean, you can feel is the closest word that we have for it.
Right.
But it's more of an innate knowing.
Yeah.
So that's just something important to kind of point out when you're thinking about these kinds of things. Mm-hmm. And sound is obviously one of those things that we can hear, but we can't hear all frequencies. You can think of a dog, who can hear beyond what a human ear can hear. And so that kind of just puts it even more into perspective, like, wow, we have such a little amount of receptivity on the sound spectrum. What else do we have such a little receptivity for?
Right.
Is it sight? Yeah, we know that other animals can see way better than us, in the night as well.
Mm-hmm. True.
And there's also other things that I'm sure we don't have the capability to receive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you talked about sound as the perfect metaphor. The wave is energy moving through the air, right? Your ears receive that vibration and it turns into something you can hear, a song, a word, perhaps a note. But like you said, without observing it, it's just an invisible thing in the air.
Yeah, it's like when the tree falls in the forest. Did it really fall?
Right.
Because nobody was there to hear it. So it's kind of the same concept. But there's no way to necessarily prove it. Mm-hmm. But let's say maybe we set up a video camera or something. I guess you can prove it, right?
Yeah.
But in a way that comes as an innate knowing, there's no way to prove that. So that's where it becomes a little bit woo-woo in a sense, where most people don't believe it because it's not there in their 5 senses for them to interpret or observe. Mm-hmm. But flipping the script, we know that with the observation, that brings it into reality. So if we can observe things that really aren't in our reality first, we'll be able to observe them in our reality.
Yeah, this is where I need to just let Jessica take it, because I'm the sponge here, learning about all of this, learning more. Right? I've been.
You've experienced it all, though. That's the thing.
True.
And it's just putting it to words or conceptualizing it. Mm-hmm. That has made you become more aware. Mm-hmm. And there's this thing, it's called the reticular activating system.
Bless you.
You've probably heard about it, right? The RAS. I know Joe Dispenza talks a little bit about it, some other people as well. Mm-hmm. But basically, whatever you're focusing on in your mind, you're going to have more and more of that pop up, right? So even the pure fact that we were talking about energy and frequency and vibration last week, your friend gave you a book on energy, frequency, and vibration, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I'm sure you've been seeing it everywhere, right? Because your mind is essentially a filter
Mm-hmm.
for things that you believe.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so the more you believe, whether it's unconscious or not, in
Mhm.
something, there's going to be evidence provided to you in the 3D reality that's going to reinforce your beliefs.
Mhm.
Because no matter if they're wrong or right,
Right.
they're true to you.
Yes.
And so your subconscious doesn't want anything not true to you to be like accepted into it.
Mhm.
'Cause
Yeah.
it doesn't want to feel like it's out of place. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Very much so. It is wild to jump into this realm, this world that we talk about on here, and see the things that aren't actually coincidences, right? Like
Mhm.
they're the manifestation, or just what's the word that we use then if it's not coincidence?
I mean, I have a saying that there's no such thing as coincidences.
Right.
So, I don't know.
I don't even. Yeah, but I feel like all of those
It's just
things.
happenings.
Yes.
Like observations.
Yeah.
It's really showing you that you have more choice and more power in what happens to you than you think you do.
Yes.
And so with that, I think the best example is the mirror principle.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you love this one, so feel free to chime in. But
Okay.
basically, you can think of your outer world as a reflection of your inner world.
Mm.
And a lot of people talk about this, but nobody really goes into the depths of explaining how it can impact you and the world around you. Right. So your internal state is going to obviously affect the outside, and your outside is going to affect the inside. It's going to influence it.
Mm-hmm.
You can think of this in being like a way where you put on a blazer, or you get your nails done, you get your hair done,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then those are all things on the outside
Right.
that make you feel better,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Mhm.
those are temporary in a sense. They're not going to last forever.
Sure.
And it helps you, it can help you get into the energetic state of feeling great, and having those higher vibrations and frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
But it really starts on the inside. So if you're able to cultivate it on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
the outside really is more effortless.
Yeah.
So the mirror principle you can think of as you smiling into a mirror, and the only way that it can smile back to you is if you were to smile at it first, right?
Mhm.
It's not going to do that prematurely.
Yeah.
So
I think this is just so. Words aren't really coming to me today.
it's simple,
Yeah.
but it's like not rarely done.
Right. And I think back to the times in my life where I was, had low energy, really had internally was just all jumbled up. Well, I
yeah.
don't know what, that's not even a word, but it is now, guys. Mark that. Put that in the
Jabbled.
dictionary for the word of the year. I digress. And how when I internally was all jumbled up, then that really did show externally in so many different ways in my relationship with my husband, in the friendships that I had. And now looking to now where internally I feel more at peace, externally, I feel like a lot of things have fallen into place. You and I talked when we got together last week about how, I had somebody come up to me and say, like, you're glowing. And people used to say that when I was pregnant, not pregnant anymore, y'all. But just, I said, I was like, you know what? Physically, I don't feel like in the best place. And this isn't, where I kind of want it to be. But I think because internally I'm really working, it's showing externally. And that felt really good. It was almost an acknowledgement of that work, if you will. But
yeah, it's kind of like reassurance for yourself, when that's a good example, right? Like you're putting this great energy out there into the world, and other people are noticing and they're complimenting you for it.
Yeah.
And I always say the best compliment that I could possibly receive is one on my energy. Like if it's, I want an energetic compliment. You know, you could tell me that my hair looks great, which I don't know about today, but you know, like whatever, your makeup looks good. I love your shirt. Okay, great. Those are all external things. But when you tell me like, oh my gosh, I love your energy.
Yes.
That is the best compliment that I could receive. And so, yeah, I appreciate those compliments where I know kind of like, okay, the hair, the makeup, those are kind of superficial in a way.
True. Yeah.
And although people might mean the best for that, it doesn't feel like as great of a compliment because it's like almost overdone, right? In a sense, like those are the easy ones,
right? And or that's not your goodness gracious me, or it is more. I don't know. I can't think of the word superficial, but also your worth isn't dictated by how good your hair looks, or you know how awesome you did your makeup or not.
Right.
Today I was like,
I guess you could have the negative like compliments too.
True.
Whereas if I guess it would mean the most if like, okay, somebody was like, okay, you look like trash today, right? For a mild word. But if somebody was like your energy really sucks today, I'd be like, oh shit, I better get my cut that out. No. You better get your stuff together, you know? But yeah, essentially that's kind of what we mean, where, you know, you're putting great energy out there and you want to be, you know, you don't want to be acknowledged for it, but when you are acknowledged for it, then it feels good. Yeah. It feels like you're aligned with what you're supposed to be doing, right?
For sure.
And also, you know, that those people are on some sort of like understanding with you that's similar. Where they get it. Like if they're talking about energy, then there's probably a good chance that they might understand some of these higher level concepts and, you know, have a higher level of consciousness within themselves and their business and life.
Sure. And or they're vibing off your energy. Maybe they're kind of like, can I get some of that? You know?
Yeah, you want to be conscious of the energy suckers. Though. Ones that can enhance your energy. Like there's not really a limit to how great you can feel, right? But everyone's hit rock bottom. There's a real limit, like it seems on the low end that we've experienced. So I would like to challenge us to be able to experience, you know, each other's energy in a good way that lifts us up,
right?
Even higher than we thought we could go before.
We should have a Jessica's Challenge Corner or something.
That'd be pretty funny. But in short, the world isn't happening to you. It's responding to you or happening for you is another way to put it. Your thoughts create your vibration. Your vibration shapes your frequency, and your frequency determines what's reflected back to you.
Yeah.
And even, you know, diving a little bit deeper with your thoughts, your thoughts are just, or your beliefs are just thoughts that you've thought over and over and over again, and they become true to you. So, you know, working on changing those beliefs to create and mold your identity of who you want to be is really going to change the course for you down the road.
Yeah.
So.
And it might be challenging and hard at first because it can be so jarring and so new, but man, totally worth it.
And I think it's also important to note that a lot of us have beliefs that come from other people and we're not even aware of that. Yeah. Right? Like you might be afraid of speaking, for example. Okay, well, consciously, you know that I'm not afraid of speaking. I've talked to people all the time. I am just saying it as an example for everyone, but, you know, you could get on a sales call. You could call somebody on the phone. You could FaceTime somebody. You're not afraid of speaking, right? But as soon as there might be pressure implied or there's perceived pressure, maybe in front of a group setting or whatever, well, that is not something that consciously makes sense. There's logic. There's no logic in that, right? You can do it in one scenario, but not in another.
Yeah.
That's a subconscious belief that, you know, maybe you are afraid to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
right? That you are afraid to be heard in front of a specific group of people
Right.
that you might think of you're going to influence them in a negative way. And so I think that it's important to note that subconscious beliefs, when they come to the surface and they are acknowledged, it's like instrumental with how much improvement you can have in your personal life and your business life as well.
Yeah. I actually just met with a friend this morning, and we were talking about how it's such an ongoing process of learning all of those limiting beliefs that you have going on. You can make strides spiritually or emotionally in this world and say, wow, I just feel better internally and blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, oh my goodness, this money block or this money thing came up, and, realizing it was actually a family dynamic of fear of money in what way or in whatever way it shows up for you. But it's just a constant learning process of how many limiting beliefs are in there.
And breaking it down even further too, like from our past episodes, talking about, money being an exchange of currency, an exchange of value or perceived value. And it's like, you might not actually have a money block, you might have a value block.
Oof.
Or a energetic currency block.
Yes.
Right. It's not so much, it's like trying to put a Band-Aid on, cancer.
Right.
Right. That's not the root of the problem.
Right. Right.
It's different when it comes to the true blocks and your beliefs towards the actual, the symptoms versus the cause.
Right. And then, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, then it all affects your energy, your vibration, and all the things that we're talking about here. So when we are able to kind of dive into those and really pull back the layers and figure out what it is that's underneath, we're able to change our vibration around all of those things, not just, one thing specifically. It's a growth is not linear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's like another saying that is true is how you do one thing is how you do everything. And it's mostly because like your identity is locked into these beliefs that, are shaping each category of your life. And then as soon as you change your beliefs to change your identity, these things just unfold like no other.
Yes.
And it's more of like, it's not so much of like, I have to do all this work to change myself.
Yeah.
It's more of like, who can I become that's more in alignment with what I truly feel is right for me versus potentially my parents or even grandparents and their thoughts and their beliefs, because those were just based off of the previous generation, most likely.
Right.
Right. And so we do ourselves a favor when we can get away, in a sense, from those beliefs. It doesn't have to be in such a radical way.
Right.
Right. Like a complete opposition.
Right.
With force. But it could be just like, okay, well, I'm exploring a different perspective here. And that feels good. Even if it's scary.
Right.
Because it's what my, parents believed. It's different from that. Or grandparents. Like, it's what feels most aligned with me. Why would I spend my life fighting against what feels right for me?
Yeah.
So
I could go into talking about what my friend and I talked about too. That there's a lot of loss that might come with that too. Of, oh, wait a second, I'm going against what I've believed for so long, or I'm going against like in quotes, really, family beliefs. But then you get to a point where you say, kind of to your point, you're not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. It's just, what am I aligned with so that my energy can stay in that high vibration, that good place that I want it to. Good's not the word I want to use, but
relevant.
Yeah.
I think also it's not so much like it's more of a attachment to the belief, right? Because when you think about it that way, it's like, okay, well, do I really experience do I have to experience such a loss when those thoughts weren't even mine?
True.
Those beliefs weren't even mine. As soon as you can separate yourself from them, be like, I'm just feeling this way. Like, for example, my grandfather came from, poverty, over from Italy, started a business, had money, was very frugal in the beginning part of his life, most of his life. And, those beliefs trickled down to my parents' generation up until a certain point, right?
Yeah.
But me, for saying like, okay, well, logically, there's no reason for me to think this, right? Because I can have abundance, I can have all these things. But if I were to say, I believe that making money is hard, or I'm limited in this way to make money, I would just be reinforcing those beliefs.
Yeah.
So for me to change the situation for myself, it's like, okay, well, making money is easy. There's an abundant amount of money that is circling back to me. There's opportunities everywhere to make money.
Right.
Money comes to me in large quantities. That kind of thing, right? There's a different energy there.
For sure.
There's opportunity, there's abundance, there's not scarcity. And that's the mindset that unfortunately going through the world wars, that kind of thing, puts you in, but that trickles down.
Absolutely.
Generationally.
Very much so. And you've said this before in episodes, but also to me, like, money is a tool. And I don't know that I've ever looked at it in that way. And what's the other way you say it? Money is
like flows, currency.
Yeah. And so again, it's that changing, shifting the mindset, even just a small amount, to say, oh, it's very simple. If you look at it in the form of flowing, that feels better than, hoarding your money, or only, limiting your spending. You need to looking at it from a place of abundance rather than lack is huge. It's shifted a lot for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I think to break it down, a positive thought is going to raise your vibration. Therefore, it's going to shift your frequency, and that's going to change what you attract in the outside world. And you can think about it in the opposite way of a negative thought loop, lowering your vibration and therefore attracting lower frequencies, and there's limits on the possibilities that you can experience.
Yeah.
And it's important to acknowledge that this is a choice. You have freedom to choose what you think, right? Or what you're willing to believe from your thoughts.
Yeah.
Right. You could think of like, even if it's like, okay, I'm a bad person, right? That's not a great thought. But you can choose to believe that thought. And you're like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm a good person. Like, I did this for somebody. I took care of this. Like, I'm a good person. And then you're like, yeah, I'm a good person. Then it raises your vibration and shifts your frequency. And then therefore you experience good things.
Yeah.
But if you're continually putting yourself in a thought loop of like, I'm unhealthy, I'm sad, I'm sick, I'm frustrated, like that's going to come back to you in a way that is reinforcing of your thoughts.
Yes. Think of all the people that I know that you're, one way or the other, the negative Nancys.
Yeah. Negative Nancys. And stay away from them.
Yeah. And to your point of you have that choice, I think our society is also like, oh, positive vibes, right? That's on every notebook, everywhere. Think positive thoughts. And it is that, but then it's more, right? It's then believing it and shifting it internally to make it actually happen.
Yeah. We'll talk about that exact key thing.
See?
And it's going to change the way that you view it. So diving into the quantum realm, we've talked about that a couple times. And it's really interesting to kind of look at from a 3D perspective, right? Because that's where we are. But the quantum realm is the invisible space, and it has pure potential that exists beneath everything else we can see or touch. So back to the senses, right? In physics, it refers to the subatomic level, where particles like electrons and photons behave in ways that defy our usual logic. So again, going back to logic as being the root of lack of energetic similarities, right? Where attraction may be. We can't use logic to attract something, right? It's like a magnet, right? That doesn't make any sense. I guess that's the closest thing I can think of if you can like view that would make sense, but you don't really know how it's like working. It's obviously two substances there, but you can repel them and you can put them closer together, right? So I guess that would be a pretty good analogy to use. But in personal development, it's often used as a metaphor for the unseen field of energy and possibility that we interact with through our thoughts and emotions and intentions or actions.
I love learning about this. So the science side, at the quantum level, jump in whenever you need to. Everything is energy and probability. It's not fixed matter. So an atom isn't a solid ball. It's a cloud of potential locations until it's observed. So this is the beginning of the book that I'm reading. And I feel like, he talks about...
It's Joe Dispenza, right?
Yes, it is. And I can't remember the name of the book, but we'll add it in at the end. But he talks about how it's changed. Our knowledge of atoms has changed, what we think and thought and all that jazz of what it is. And this is just a lot for me to absorb. So
yeah, well, I think you're definitely on the right path. I mean, that was one of the first books. I think it's like Changing Yourself or whatever. Or Unbecoming Yourself or whatever. Yeah. Something like that. I'm blanking. But that like 5 or 6 years ago, I read that book. And then I started to become really, really curious about what he was talking about and wondering like, okay, is this real or am I imagining type of thing?
Yeah.
But no, everything that he says is like awesome to read, and it kind of opens up this rabbit hole for you to go down. But
yeah. Which clearly you've gone down for 6+ years, and I'm on the beginning of it, but this is amazing to talk about and think about.
Well, now you're just, when you hear things again, you're going to be like, oh, okay, it makes sense. Because a lot of it we've already went over, but observation, that's really the key because it affects the outcome. So there's this experiment, it's called the double slit experiment. Have you heard about it before?
I don't know. Talk about it. Oh, probably from you.
Basically, scientists found that a particle's behavior changes depending on whether it's being watched or observed, meaning that conscious observation will collapse possibilities into reality. If you just think about that for 1 second, it shows that reality responds to attention and what you focus on. You focus on it with emotion, becomes your experienced reality. And just like energy, frequency, and vibration, it's shaping your life from the inside out. So we can really give credit to the scientists that were involved with that. But it also helps you realize, and some people coin this term quantum leaping, right? Where essentially you can take an idea or vision or imagination and bring it into reality in a quicker timeline than expected or, ever done before. And essentially, this is because time and space aren't linear. So everything exists in a field of infinite possibilities happening simultaneously. So we experience one timeline based on what we focus on. So you were alluding to deja vu, right? That could be another example of potentially crossing multiple timelines at the same time.
It's so crazy to think about that.
And that might be, the source of that. Yeah, the quantum leaping is pretty cool. Essentially, like, you can utilize your imagination and focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Focus on what you want. And having your thoughts, actions, words, beliefs, all of that line up together will inherently make it manifest quicker in your reality.
Yeah. I think that's why as coaches, a lot of coaches say, what do you want your life to look like in a year, right? There's that focus of the future, but also then making it happen in the present.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, well, experiencing it in the present, right? You can't experience it now in the future.
Right.
Like, you have to experience it now.
Right.
but
Yeah.
the vision is super important.
Yeah.
Like that's why I focus on vision really more than anything. And it's allowed me to experience things in a faster way, but also in a grander way, like a grander scale.
And you're not talking about attachment to the outcome. I think sometimes vision and attachment to the outcome, like what do you want it to look like? And if it doesn't look like that
that's where you can get caught up. Yeah. So it's more so like, what do you want to experience
or feel
with that abundance and whatever that means? Yeah. What do you want to feel? I mean, feeling an emotion is a huge piece. It's like a conduit towards the actual manifestation, right? Because if you think about it, you're trying to feel that feeling in the long run, right?
Right.
So if you were to just feel it now, like, okay, well, it's not here, and then you get bummed out.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's like, okay, well, I'm feeling it, and it shows up, then it's like, okay, wow, I did that because I maintained that emotion.
Yes.
Until it hardened into fact, as Neville Goddard would say, in Law of Assumption.
Yeah.
So it's really thinking kind of backwards with things, right? If you can maintain that vision long enough and that imagination, then it's bound to come to fruition.
Yeah.
Right. So another good example is a farmer who wants to have a good harvest and a good yield for their crop, right? So they have to do whatever they do with the soil, till it, take care of it, make sure it's watered. Then they plant the seeds and they take care of it, but they don't know what their yield's going to be, right? They just imagine that they're going to have a great, fruitful year.
Yeah.
And then they don't sit there and look at the crop every single day under the ground. Like, is it coming? Is it coming? No, they maintain that vision of a great yield. Yeah. And then it's growing throughout the year. And then they get to see kind of like from beginning to end the process of it unfolding.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
That's a really good example.
Yeah. I like farmers.
I like them too.
Good people for the most part.
Yeah. Well, so we had talked about this too. I remember when we were putting this together, I said, how is this different or the same as like manifesting?
Yeah.
So I'll let you take it.
Yeah. So we're always manifesting, right? Whether it's something that we want or it's something that we don't want. And so that's where the principles come in, where it's like, okay, you can subconsciously the subconscious mind is your body, right? So you embodying that. And it takes up 95% of your consciousness. Okay. And your logical conscious mind is only 5%.
Yeah. That statistic,
it's like the iceberg.
Every time I hear it, it like blows me away.
Yeah. It's what's underneath the water in the iceberg. So by focusing on the 5%, we can work all we want.
Yeah.
And we can force and we can use logic. But by changing the perspective of, okay, well, if I were to just shift my focus from this hard work, limited type of mindset to, I'm going to focus majority of my energy on the subconscious mind, don't you think that would ultimately have a bigger effect on your life?
Yeah.
And so the subconscious mind is the body, right? So thinking about your emotions, your energy with your body, how you treat your body, how you feel in your body. Those are all very important things that are going to kind of determine, whether that manifestation happens and when it happens for you.
Yeah.
Majorly over the 5% of your mind and what you can control there. But the hard part is that, I shouldn't say hard, but the misconception for it is that we are in our conscious mind for the majority of the day. So it appears like it's harder because we have to spend all these waking hours grinding away, right? Where we don't necessarily have to do that.
Right. Yeah. We could go into false sleep.
That's another topic.
Yeah. We'll make that for next time. Yeah, sorry. This is like I said, this is like new-ish to me. So I'm just absorbing all of this and thinking about it from different perspectives and areas of my life, different people that I know and how it could help them.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about the quantum field with the spiritual perspective or manifestation as it's coined often. It's a metaphysical sense. And what we mean by that is it's a universal intelligence and energy matrix that responds to frequency and intention. So this is where you can really get keen on, vibration, frequency, and all that. Every possible version of your life already exists in that field. And through your focus, emotion, and aligned action, you can quantum leap or collapse those possibilities, and usually one at a time, sometimes it's multiple, into your 3D experience. And so before we can do that, those visions, imaginations, they are particles that exist in wavelengths. And you are the observer. And as soon as you observe that wave, then you can bring it into physical reality.
I'm thinking of all these Marvel movies that I watched with my husband.
Yeah, I guess kind of those can help illustrate, the concept there.
For sure. Absolutely. So think of it like Netflix, actually. Going right into that. All the movies already exist in the library, but the one you experience depends on the one you select. Your thoughts and feelings are the remote control.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Some other show radio, but
sure.
You have many other, you can see it. Right?
Yeah, as you say, more visual.
Yeah. It's visual.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wavelength thing is very interesting to think about, but understanding it from a music perspective makes so much sense, right? Like you're like plucking a guitar string and that's vibrating at a certain, amount, and it's emitting a frequency that we can hear.
Yep.
And then it's like, okay, well, that's a high pitch or that's a low pitch type of thing. So, but if nobody was there to hear it, then I wouldn't be existing at all until you observed it from the quantum realm.
Yeah. So
you should tell the architect example about imagining.
Okay. So think about it. You have an architect using their imagination to create a structure that no one has ever seen before. I'm thinking of that cool mushroom house around here. No,
I don't know about it.
Look it up. I don't know who it is. I don't know anything about it. It's just a cool thing. So that mushroom house, it didn't exist from a building that already was in existence. Rather, it came from their imagination and their aligned action. From this, we can then see the physical outcome created from a non-physical idea.
Love that.
Yeah, I do too. And trying to think about, and challenging our listeners and viewers to think about an example of a time that's happened in their life for them. When has there been a time when you used your imagination and then something came from that, right?
Right. It just shows that you're a powerful creator when you can do that. And we need those people in the world. We need creators, and more creators and less consumers.
Yes.
Because you're just consuming other people's creations and you're using a lot of different energy, I'll say, where we can use, think about it like children that are coming up in the world, and a lot of times their opinions and ideas aren't really valued, but they're the next generation, and we could use them to structure things from their perspective. And
for sure, we
often limit imagination time
as adults,
and I would encourage everyone to daydream and don't sell yourself short by not dreaming, because you can't take them with you.
Right.
So It's important. And also, our brains can't distinguish between reality and imagination. So this is really crucial for understanding how manifestation works in the spiritual realm, but also on a scientific level.
Mm-hmm.
And so because your brain can't distinguish it, like what does that mean for you? Like that means that you have a ton of power in deciding what you want to experience.
Mm-hmm. Power and choice are the two words that keep coming up for me that we have using their energy, our frequency, and our vibration.
Yeah, like thinking of it like a scary movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that if you're imagining this happening to you, whatever's going on in that movie that's scary, it's getting your heart bumping and you're experiencing those levels of anxiety and fear. And also, but at a conscious level, you're like, oh, this is not real. Like,
right.
But you're having the same reaction.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
So there's been studies that have been done too by people who, there's like test groups where there's group A that has, exercised and had outcomes. And then there's another group that didn't exercise, but they just visualized themselves exercising. And they had almost the same outcomes, which is crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. But it's similar. The piano players as well. They can visualize themselves playing piano. And they emit the same like energy.
Yeah.
And results from it.
So when my kid says, "Oh, Mom, I was thinking about practicing my trumpet," does that count for practicing?
If they're visualizing it, if they're fully like visualizing it and spending time doing that, then they might. And I've had experiences with this where like I would be playing soccer and I'd have a visual like beforehand, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna really like ace it this time, and got myself into that scenario where like, and I play goalkeeper for reference in recent years, so like nothing's getting past me. Like I'm gonna put like my hand on every single shot, and nothing's getting past. And those are the games where you usually play like outstanding, right?
Yeah.
If you take the time to actually visualize that way.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, because I remember when my son was playing soccer, I would say to him like, You got this. He was off the field tying a shoe, or he was, out, and I was like, you're going to go score this next one. And I remember it was more times than not that he actually went out there and scored.
Oh, good.
Yeah. He's also my very, how do I want to say this? Like he has premonitions and stuff. So he makes fun of me for all my manifesting and universe words, but I'm pretty positive that he follows that too. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, the more you can introduce it to them, the earlier I think the better it's going to be.
Yeah.
And so I think at this point, we're going to talk about the frequency, energy, and vibration and how it all aligns together. Basically, your energy, that's the fabric of the quantum field. And so you're made up of the same creative energy as the universe.
Yeah. And then going into vibration, that's the motion of energy. So your emotional state determines what you're broadcasting into the field.
Yep. And frequency, it's your pattern or rate of your vibration. And you can tune in just like a radio into experiences that match your frequency.
So then your observation and your focus, taking all of those things, and it's the collapsing mechanism. What you focus on with emotion becomes your physical reality then.
And in short, the quantum field mirrors your focus. So you don't chase reality, you choose it through your energetic alignment. And that brings us to the energetic congruency, which is the key term I wanted to talk about here. And so your coherence is crucial, because to understand that, you can really manifest in a quicker timeline. When your thoughts, emotions, your words, and actions are all in alignment and they're all telling the same story, whether that's good or bad.
True.
Let me know. It allows you to be in coherency, and then things come quicker. So, for example, you want to manifest more money, like most people do, right? But if you're thinking, I never have enough.
Mm-hmm.
You're feeling stressed about your bills, saying, I'm so broke. I have no money to pay my bills this month. And you're looking at your bank account, or you're not looking at your bank account. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all in alignment, right?
For sure.
But in a negative way, right?
Yeah.
You're going in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about it as like, you say you want more money,
Mm-hmm.
but all of your actions, thoughts, emotions, and words are in opposition of what you truly want.
Mm-hmm.
So do you really want it is the question number one.
Ooh.
And it's also like you're hitting the gas and the brakes at the same time. And that's why you're not going anywhere.
Mm.
So the first time I heard that, I was like, wow, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You can, hope and wish all you want. But if those 4 things aren't in alignment and going the right direction,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not going to experience that. You're just going to keep experiencing more of the same thing because energetically you're stuck.
Yeah.
Right? So energetic coherence is when all of those things align and you're going in the right direction.
Yeah. That's good. We need to emphasize that whole thing.
Yeah. And I think it's cool when you can manifest in a quicker timeline.
For
when
sure.
People ask you, what did you do?
Yeah.
And you're like, I just thought it and did it and stayed true to that.
Yeah. They're like, can I get some of that?
Yeah.
But I think it's also good to note, like you said, if you are focused on the negative, then you will stay there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are looking for that quick fix, whether it be, losing weight or, making more money, all of these things. And I feel like you just hit the nail on the head. Like it's the secret, right? It's the secret to
the secret
to doing that is to energetically be aligned. And,
it doesn't have to be hard either.
Right.
I think that's the misconception. And that's why I tried to eliminate that. And I caught myself earlier too. But thinking about having a positive experience, visualizing that, and then lining up your actions and your emotions and your words, like that's going to make it easier for you to accomplish what you need to accomplish. And sometimes it's not about accomplishing anything at all. It's just about feeling like in a better state.
Right.
And experiencing something that you want to experience.
Right. And surrounding yourself with those that get it, right? Or those that are in the same
the same level of
space.
Consciousness.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be like you have the same exact life, right?
Sure.
Like, or are open to the conversation, right? Just they're deep thinkers. For me, it's very hard to be around low level thinkers because when you're talking about things like this, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. And there's only so many people that are willing to have that conversation. So those are the people that I try to hang out with.
Same.
And so we want to end the episode on this quote. And most of you may know this one. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And that's by Nikola Tesla.
I legit didn't look at that when I said the secret. But that's funny. And see, it's the universe.
Yeah.
So remember, your journey to empowered abundance continues on the next episode. Thanks for listening to Vibe and Shine podcast. Keep shining bright.